Now at 6, Freeman Health System announces plans for a 50-bed hospital in southeast Kansas. Plus, the Pitt State Marching Band looks to beat the heat by moving their practice indoors. And 100 plus businesses and organizations descend onto the campus of MSSU for Community Day 2023.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A new hospital is in the works for Pittsburgh. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. The announcement came today. KOAM's Amber Jenkins talked with Freeman about their upcoming project.
Freeman Health System is planning to build a fully functional 50-bed hospital in Pittsburgh. Freeman is looking to improve rural health care accessibility and add more than 500 new jobs.
We'll be recruiting new physicians to work full-time in Pittsburgh. We will still have the availability of our specialists in Joplin, but we intend to recruit specifically for Pittsburgh, Kansas.
The $168 million project's location and timeline are still in development.
We have already visited with and had meetings with the architect about the plans, so we already have a head start on that. So that's why I think we can quickly obtain some land, get the architectural drawings finalized, do the soil studies, and all those things that are necessary from an engineering perspective, and then we'll be ready to break ground.
A new hospital will greatly help Paul Roberts, who drives his wife from Fort Scott to Joplin for chemo treatment. Saving 30 minutes of driving makes a difference.
You know, an excellent opportunity for Southeast Kansas, rural America, that Freeman, steps in and fills a void. Fort Scott is basically rural where our hospital shut down.
As of now, Pittsburgh only has one hospital, but Roberts thinks the community can benefit from some medical competition.
If something were to happen, let's say here in Pittsburgh, that one of the other hospitals were to decide we're leaving, then you've got a backup. And I think for future, we need to have more than just one. Competition is a beautiful thing.
We know that if we take care of the people, we don't worry so much about the competition. I think the whole entire Southeast Kansas region has come to rely upon Freeman Health System.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Now, currently, Freeman has hospitals in Joplin and Neosho and other healthcare facilities scattered throughout southwest Missouri, southeast Kansas, and Oklahoma. Well, it's another scorcher out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
You are right, Dow. Another scorcher, and we have a few more of those ahead of us, but then we have some relief on the way as well. So that's the good news. But right now, temperatures are still toasty. 102 this afternoon in Garnett, 100 in Yates Center, Chanute, Fredonia, as well as Howard. Temperatures in the upper 90s in many locations, 93 over there in Monette. This evening, we're going to see temperatures dropping through the 90s, into the 80s, all the way down to about 76 degrees under partly cloudy skies. We're also watching the remnants of Harold moving up through the Rocky Mountains, and it's going to take the long way around, but eventually some of that moisture will start to move into our area as we go into the weekend, and that means some cooler temperatures. In fact, the heat wave is going to continue for the next couple of days, but then weekend rain chances and cooler next week. Unfortunately, though, the drought is worsening, and I'll have more details on that in just a little bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. The Pitt State Marching Band had to come up with a strategy to beat the heat. The band has moved its practice indoors in preparation for the first football game of the year, which is happening next week. Since Monday, the PSU band has had the chance to play in the Plaster Center for the first time. They're also using the Bicknell Center to practice.
Being in here is a really big help for just us concentrating and doing everything that we need to do for put marching on the field.
We would be out in the heat like we were all week last week doing our camp. We were blessed with some wonderful weather. We got really lucky, just got a little steamy on Friday, but we were all good.
Band members also interacted with the football team and even taught the athletes some traditional PSU songs. Another strategy the band will adopt to keep themselves healthy in extreme temperatures is wearing lighter clothes instead of their traditional uniforms until the temperatures cool down. The Healthy Bourbon County Action Team today awarded nearly $50,000 in grants to local entrepreneurs. The team gave $7,000 to 2 restaurants, handed out grants to 7 women-owned, minority-owned, or low-income startup businesses worth $5,000 each. Officials say those businesses worked with the teams to develop plans to grow their businesses.
Make the daycare safer by getting a security system and getting more sensory activities and alerting systems, so that way we're not just a play daycare anymore. We'll be more focused on learning for the kids too.
The team says it's awarded a total of $195,000 in grants to similar businesses over the past 2 years. Welcome Lions, a big event at Missouri Southern today, welcomed students, faculty, and staff to a new school year and helped acquaint them with what the community has to offer. More than 100 businesses and organizations gathered at the Billingsley Student Center for Community Day. They provided some freebies and information on volunteer or part-time job opportunities.
It's really great for students to get active and involved in things like this because exposure is everything. You know, you'll never get an opportunity that you're not aware of. So I encourage students all the time, just come be present and talk and learn more about what opportunities are in your local area.
I think it can be kind of hard sometimes to find good places to try and find jobs and opportunities to kind of implement the skills that I've gotten in college. So I thought this would be a great way for me to come out and see what my options are as far as post-education and, you know, maybe try and figure out also what I might be more interested in.
Classes for Missouri Southern's fall semester began on Monday. Coming up, Oklahoma authorities search a property in Kansas in connection with the BTK killer. Plus, newly released video from inside a Missouri jail shows the assault on a corrections officer. Oklahoma authorities today searched the former home of the BTK serial killer in Park City, Kansas. An Osage County undersheriff said they were following leads on missing people that might be related to the killer by digging up areas at the home. Dennis Rader terrorized the people of Wichita from 1974 to 1991. He gave himself the nickname BTK, which stands for Bind, Torture, Kill. He was convicted in 2015 for the murders of 10 people. Newly released video shows what happened when inmates assaulted a corrections officer and held him hostage. Now attention is turning to security issues at the Missouri jail that allowed it to happen. Brent Solomon has that story.
Take a look at this video inside the St. Louis Justice Center Tuesday, moments after 2 inmates held a 73-year-old corrections officer hostage, all over the food they were being served.
It's very scary.
The victim's daughter, who asked not to be identified, spoke with her father when he was recovering in the hospital.
He got a busted lip, and I think he got a concussion.
Officials say 2 inmates attacked the corrections officer and held him against his will.
For up to 2 hours, his life was in danger. He wasn't protected by the city that he serves. There is severe understaffing. They are not able to adequately handle the amount of detainees that they have accepted at that facility.
Today, the Commissioner of Corrections for the jail would not address how many officers were working, citing security reasons. When asked if there's a need for community oversight,
I think this is merely an operation issue and has nothing to do with oversight. They were operating the way they should have been.
Even with all of the procedures that are supposed to protect him, the procedures that the warden today said worked just as they should, his life was put in danger.
Even the 73-year-old's daughter is left with questions.
I was think he was by himself. Was there another protocol, other guard around him? I don't know. My dad is not mean. He's very nice. My dad would never, he does his job.
The Correction Task Force was created after inmates rioted at that same jail in 2021. Officials said the inmates involved in the most recent incident will be charged. A little bit later, John's going to take us to Neosho for a preview of the Wildcats football program and its chances for success.
And we have some chances for some rain and also some cooler weather for the weekend. We'll have all the details when we come back. Well, it was another scorcher out there with temperatures close to 100 degrees yet again across the 4 states. So the heat wave continues. Let's take a look out this morning at Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And as that goes into motion, you can see as we head through the afternoon, we had some clouds, starting to move in, and that helped temperatures out just a little bit this afternoon and kept temperatures just a little bit below 100 degrees, especially in southwestern Missouri. We're still up with the clouds right now. In Joplin, we made it up to 97 after starting out at a very toasty 80 degrees this morning, well above the normals of 89 and 67. And notice we're now dropping below 90 degrees for the average high. So fall is on its way, but it's just going to take a little bit longer to get here. Rainfall, of course, we're about 9 inches behind so far this year, not counting the dryness from last year. So we are definitely in need of some rainfall. Excessive heat warnings are in effect for our entire area until Friday at 10 o'clock for most of the region. And tonight it'll be ending at about 8 p.m., but will be reissued again tomorrow for Northeast Oklahoma and Northwest Arkansas. So let's take a look at some of the safety tips. Stay hydrated, of course. Take frequent breaks. Limit your outdoor activities. Wear light color and lightweight clothing. And also be sure to check on the elderly as well as the pets that are outside. Temperatures right now are in the 90s for the most part, close to 100 in Yates Center right now with 99, 91 down in Benville, so a little bit cooler down there. But look at the dew points. They're still in the mid to upper 70s, and that makes it feel very, very uncomfortable out there. In fact, on the dew point tracker, it's basically soupy, almost cut it with a knife out there. And then tomorrow, we're going to feel like 110 plus again for mainly northeastern Oklahoma with 112 in Veneta, 104 in Parsons, 109 in Yates Center. So the heat just continues, and that goes on into Thursday as well, with feeling like 106, 108 across the area tomorrow and 118 in Veneta. Then as we head into Friday, yep, you guessed it, more heat across the region. And that continues a little bit into Saturday, but we are starting to see some improvement, especially up towards the north and west. Rain chances, though, they're going to be pretty close to zero for the next 36 hours. We're going to have to wait for the remnants of Harold to make its way around this big ridge of high pressure that's been dominating for so long. It's going to retreat back to the west. And as it does, that's going to open up the opportunity for some energy to drop in from the north and west with some cooler air and also increased rain chances, and that's certainly needed. Temperatures tonight are going to be in the mid 70s with west to southwesterly winds. Then tomorrow, highs again at or close or maybe even above 100 degrees. Maybe an isolated storm or two, but don't bet the farm on that. Then as we go into Friday, we're going to see lows in the mid 70s. And then Friday afternoon, we're going to see highs once again close to or right around 100 degrees. And then Saturday morning, lows in the mid 70s with increasing clouds and increasing moisture as well. And then over the next 7 days, we're going to see a better chance of showers and storms on Sunday, and then much cooler as we go into Monday and also next week with near normal temperatures.
Yeah, near normal. That means highs only in the 80s.
I know.
Lows around 60 degrees overnight,
It's going to feel great, I know.
Yeah, open the window
deserve
evenings. Yes, indeed we do. Sam, thanks. If you're looking to dig up some information on your family tree, well, the Miami Public Library has something just for you. The library's genealogy department wants to invite genealogy enthusiasts out to a new group. First meeting took place today in the upstairs meeting room. The group has 5 more meetings scheduled. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com for additional information. Still ahead, the St. Louis Cardinals try to bounce back from last night's loss in Pittsburgh. And Miami football deals with a schedule adjustment because of the heat. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
The heat index continues to be an obstacle for local sports. In Miami, high school football is one of the most recent teams to have Mother Nature get in its way. The War Dogs were scheduled to have their Week 0 game against Dewey this Friday. They entered Tuesday's practice prepping for that game. However, due to the expected temperatures in the high 90s ranging into that evening, the game is postponed until Week 3, and practice times have also gotten shorter because of the heat.
We're facing some adversity with the weather, with the heat, obviously unheard of heat indexes and things like that, and keeping our kids' health first and foremost, in line with our practice schedule. So, we're trying to just encourage the kids to really hydrate throughout the day, and more so than what they normally do, and then just cutting practice times tremendously in the fact that we're going about a half practice and a lot of times with half the equipment.
Postponing Friday was a big shock. Nothing like that has ever really happened that I know of. But Monday was definitely the worst. It was hot out here. Tuesday, we were at NEO. It really wasn't that bad. Today, I don't know, it's not bad. Feels good out here, football weather.
And one of the schools that doesn't have to deal with that football weather plaguing the 4 states today is Neosho. Wildcats practicing in their indoor facility as we speak. You'll get a chance to hear from them tonight at 9 o'clock on Fox 14, then again at 10 here on KOAM. They bring back a lot of pieces from an offense that averaged over 40 points per game last season. But here's some more info on how the weather is impacting the opening weekend of high school football in Missouri and Oklahoma. This Friday, Nevada's home game against Springfield Catholic, McDonald County hosting Mount Vernon, and Commerce against Sarcoxy. Those are 3 games that have been pushed back to an 8 p.m. start time because of the weather. These are not isolated incidents. Like you've already heard, Miami was ready to play Dewey this Friday. That game moved to week 3. A few Kansas schools have jamborees scheduled for Friday night. The one held at Parsons and Frontenac both pushed back to 8. Humboldt says it's not participating in the jamboree at Parsons, even with the later start time. A little bit cooler in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where the Cardinals are today. They've lost 6 of 7 entering this game. In the first inning, Paul Goldschmidt lines a single off Luis Ortiz. Alec Burleson comes around to score. Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. Later in the inning, bases loaded, Richie Palacios rips a double down the line. That would bring in 2 runners. Cardinals take a 3-0 lead. They had lost, again, 6 of 7 coming into that game, but things looking different in this one. Second inning, Nolan Arenado lines one off Ortiz, down the line again. That'd get down. 2 runs come in to score on the double. Cardinals go on to win 6-4. So for them, out on the East Coast, weather's not too much of an issue, but it seems like everything going on locally, the heat is getting in the way a little bit of sports.
Oh yeah, you bet. And of course the team's, practicing, trying to get acclimated to it. It's kind of tough, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's really tough. There's not too many good solutions too, because not a lot of teams have it.
Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. A look at the dangers of hot cars and how the heat can impact the car itself. Plus, health experts provide some recommendations to protect student athletes from the intense heat during practice, and how a new kind of shepherd is roaming the Swiss Alps to protect sheep from a growing wolf population. Yeah, those stories, a lot more. Of course, it's coming up tonight. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. Hey, Carthage residents get a sneak peek of the Park of the Future today. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce cut the ribbon on the grand opening of the playground at Carter Park. It's designed to be more inclusive for kids with disabilities through things like ramps and specially designed swings. The improvements were made thanks to a $5 million grant from the McCune Brooks Regional Hospital Fund. Looks like a nice park. Kind of hot to be playing in the park today.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be at a water park or something like that with temperatures close to 100 degrees. 2 more days of this, and then we start to get some relief as we head towards the weekend with a chance of showers and storms, and then cooler next week, or at least closer to normal.
Yeah, down into the 80s for highs. It'll be welcome. Final sports note.
I mentioned the Cardinals earlier. They get the win to kind of change things around. So do the Royals as well on the road today.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. Let's make it a great evening.